Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking your phone, and there's already a message waiting from your own AI. It scanned the news overnight, picked out the 5 things you'd actually care about, and laid them out for you. You didn't really do anything, it just did its job while you slept. That's the promise of the AI agents. And that's exactly what we're building in this video on your own machine. We're going to be setting up Hermes Agent properly. Set it up as a 24/7 AI worker that you can message from your phone, give memory, connect to tools, teach specific skills, and schedule to run jobs on its own. By the end of this video, Hermes will respond on a real model, remember how you like to work, reply to you on Telegram from anywhere at any time, and run that morning briefing automatically. I'm also going to give you the right safety settings so you're never handing an always-on agent the keys to wreck your machine. If you like this kind of content and want more tutorials, reviews, or comparisons in the AI workspace, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you keep up with any future uploads similar to this one. Now let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, if you are completely unfamiliar, Hermes is a self-improving AI agent from News Research. The important part is not that it answers questions, anything can do that at this point, but the important part is that it remembers across sessions, uses real tools, writes its own reusable skills from repeated work, it can run scheduled jobs, and lives inside messaging applications like Telegram and Discord. And the first step to running your agent is picking your path. You can actually run Hermes Agent in 3 different ways, and it matters. You can run it locally on your own PC, which is best for testing and learning, but it's only up while your computer is actually on. The second way is a VPS, which is a cheap cloud server, and this is definitely the real move for an always-on worker that keeps running scheduled jobs and answering Telegram while your laptop's closed. Finally, we've got Docker, which is the clean server-style deployment for easy updates and a persistent gateway. I'll show you both how you can start locally to get chat working, and also how you can get the VPS route, which is the easiest way to get a server without wrestling a blank machine through Hostinger. They offer a one-click deployment that can set it up for you, and you can also use my code ASH8 for a discount. You'll find everything in the description down below. Alright, so to install it locally, if you want the absolute easiest route on Windows or Mac, grab the Hermes desktop installer from their main website and run it. For the command line install on Linux, Mac, or WSL, it's one line. Now the install is super simple. Once you have the application running, you want to go ahead and open it. The very next step would be connecting a model. So if we think that Hermes is the digital employee, we also need to connect a digital brain. And that's what connecting a model does. My strong advice is to start with a cloud provider, not a local one. You first want to confirm that Hermes itself works before you start debugging local models. So onto the application, you navigate to the settings, and then you go ahead to connect a model. So tap the providers and then go to have an API key instead. And then from here, you paste your API key, whether it's with OpenRouter, Anthropic, XAI, and so on. So as you can see, I already have my OpenRouter key connected, and I get access to all of these different models. Another easy option is the news portal, which is one subscription covering 300 plus models plus tools like web search, so you're not collecting separate API keys. But like I said, OpenRouter is already good if you would rather bring your own. Pick one of those and then choose a solid model, and you should be set. The next step is to get one clean chat working. So before anything else, let's go ahead and prove the foundation. You want to run Hermes normally and test it with something. For example, a prompt like this one. If you get a clean, usable answer with no API errors, your foundation is solid and we can build. We don't want to move on to connecting Telegram or WhatsApp or maybe scheduling unless the chat is actually working. So try to fix the model and the provider first, because every other piece depends on this one working. From here, we want to give our employee its hands, which are the tools. For that, you want to navigate to Hermes and then Tools. You'll be able to see the toolsets, web search, browser, terminal, files, memory, delegation, and a lot more. I recommend you don't turn everything on just for the sake of it. Every tool you enable is another hand that you're giving the agent. You want to be giving it those tools slowly, or at least just what you need at the moment. For a solid starting worker, enable web search, file access, memory, and cron. You can leave terminal access off unless you genuinely understand what it lets the agent do, and only ever point file access at a test folder to begin with. You can always add more later and branch out, but you want to start narrow. Alright, after that we want to give it its memory, so this is what makes Hermes feel like your worker instead of a generic one. Memory holds facts and preferences, skills hold procedures. For now, we want to seed a couple of useful memories so it behaves consistently. In the chat, you can just tell it straight up to remember facts about you or your work. These are a couple of examples of what you can do. So the memories should now be added. The next step would be connecting Telegram, and this is where Hermes truly becomes an agent in your pocket. So we start by making the Telegram bot if you're going that route. You open Telegram, you search for botfather, that's Telegram's official bot for making the bots, and then send it /new bot. Give it a suitable name and a username, and then it will hand you a token. You copy that token and keep it a secret. It's pretty much like a password. And then back in your terminal, you want to run Hermes Gateway Setup. It will show you all of the services that you can actually connect, followed by not configured if you don't have them connected yet. You simply choose Telegram, paste your token when it asks, and then start the gateway. Follow the simple prompts that it gives you. Once your gate has started, you should be able to message your bot from Telegram. Write a message in and see if it replies. If it does, you've officially got an AI worker that you can reach from your phone. Now the next step is to make it run 24/7, because right now the gateway runs while your terminal's open. To make it a true always-on worker, you need to install it as a background service with a task so it keeps running and restarts itself. It's really simple. All you have to do is write Hermes Gateway install, and then you follow the simple commands, basically typing Y and then enter. Once it finishes, you run Hermes Gateway status. If it says that it's installed and everything is running, then everything is good. If it installs but doesn't automatically start it, once again you can write Hermes Gateway start and it should start. That install step is what turns it into a proper background service instead of something tied to your open terminal. Now the honest truth is that a laptop is only 24/7 if it's powered on and online. For an AI agent that genuinely never sleeps, runs scheduled tasks, you want it on a VPS for an always-on machine. And that is pretty much where a service like Hostinger comes in handy. If you get it running on a virtual private server, you ensure that it stays on 24/7 and continues its tasks on time every single time. Speaking of its job, that takes us to the next step, which is creating these scheduled tasks. Now you can do that by directly asking it in the chat in plain English, or you can hit the cron tab. You can ask it something like this, where every morning at a certain hour, it checks the latest news, and then it sends you the top 5 on Telegram in your specific field. You can also add something like, for each one of the news, tell me what happened, why it matters, and whether it's worth an article or a report, etc. Hermes will create the scheduled job automatically and delivers the result to your Telegram. If you want to test it to make sure it works, you can hit the trigger now button and it will run the task right away to give you a result to work with. And that is one of the main things of this build. A prompt becomes an assignment the moment it can run without you sitting there. Every time you wake up, the work's already in your messages. Now here's the part where Hermes goes past a scheduler. When you've got a workflow that you repeat, you can turn that into a skill so it runs it consistently every time. After it does that cron job well, you can just tell it to save the process you just used as a reusable skill and then you name it something. That routine will be saved. And you can attach a skill to a scheduled job, so your Monday morning research, for example, always follows the same exact proven process. That's one of the things that include the self-improving part of Hermes. It's not just repeating a prompt, it's reusing a workflow that it learned. Now once your worker is running, here are the workflows worth adding. You want to start with read-only ones, add send and delete powers later once you trust it. A daily AI briefing to your Telegram, a weekly YouTube research run using your skill, a project folder review that reads a test folder and lists what needs fixing. An important one is the inbox triage that summarizes unread email and drafts replies but never sends without approval. And a server or website monitor that checks every few hours and pings you if something changes. So that's pretty much everything that we have built in this short video. Hermes installed, a model connected, one clean chat confirmed, tools enabled with Telegram connected, and your own scheduled jobs. I've also given you the option to run it 24/7 if that is something that you need. Now keep in mind that Hermes is not impressive because it can answer a prompt. It's impressive when it remembers how you work, uses the right tools, and runs on a schedule. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have found it to be helpful or useful, let me know by subscribing to the YouTube channel and giving this video a thumbs up so you don't miss out on any future content similar to this one.